Welcome to Salzburg in Austria. Cars on the grid for the first of two races. This is rounds 5 and 6 of the FIA European Touring Car Cup. Martin Haven and race winner James Nash sitting alongside me. James, great opportunity for the BMW, the points leader Peter Foulin there on pole position. Another strong qualifying, and this track with its constant radius corners really should benefit the BMWs. We saw tyre woes coming in the World Touring Car races and playing a part in the race action there.
Yeah, the BMWs have got a great advantage here with their tyres, but so much closer. Peter Foulin, you know, he's always qualified on the front row, but this time there's a couple of tenths or a tenth between the top four, so yeah, it's much closer at this track.
Well, Jordi Oriola in row 2 of the grid, looking to try and recover some of the ground he lost from the beginning of the season. Massive entry here, 33 cars on the grid. And again, that means that anybody, I suppose, James, is not right at the front is going to be, yeah, certainly potentially fending people off left, right and centre into that first chicane, because that is always a real, you know, trouble point, especially from a standing start.
Yeah, the first couple of corners here is very tricky, but if you're out in front in the early laps, you know, you're only a sitting duck, so the slipstream is vital here, and there's a long straight. The BMW's a perfect shape for super slipstreams, but I think the Seats have probably just got a bit more power.
Well, water on the camera lens. We got away in the World Touring Car races without rain, but it was forecast for later on this afternoon. I wonder if we are going to see patches of rain coming through. Peter Foulin then is our overall points leader, and he's the Super 2000. There are 3 classes here essentially: Super 2000 cars, Super 1600 cars. Can you guess what engine size they've got? Exactly right. And SMT, single make trophy, and essentially those are Seat Leon Super Copas. And the man on the outside, the front row of the grid with the yellow and blue of Ukraine, Igor Skuts, looking to try and rein in Foulin a little bit. Kevin Kramers, the defending champion of Super 1600, again on pole in that class, and he has 4 wins from 4 starts so far this season. So once more, Kramers in his new Fiesta is looking very strong. And Jordi Oriola, the teenage son of Pepe, is leading the SMT class. He starts in 3rd on the grid. Andrina Guga starts on row 10. She's the leader of the Ladies' Trophy, the 4th different trophy that's up for grabs this season. 31 there, Kevin Kramers. He is the pole man in Super 1600. And when we've raced here a number of times in European Touring Car Cup, when it was just a single double race event and when it's been part of a multi-race championship. In fact, I think the driver with most wins here is Michel Nukia, who's got at least 3 under his belt. Didn't manage to add to that in the World Touring Car races today. So here we go, rolling start. Peter Foulin on pole position will pace the field up to the line. Igor Skuts, and then behind him, Jordi Oriola and Matto Homola. You can see the orange and black cars of the junior team from Hungary. Norbert Nagy on the extreme left of your shot, but Skuts has got... I don't think he's got in front of Oriola safely. No, he hasn't. Jordi's still looking up the inside, finally tucks in behind. And Andreas Pfister, the white car beside Oriola, they were battling for 3rd. Are we going to get through safely? There are wipers on. Now, I don't know whether that's a panic move, but a few guys have got wipers on. Peter Foulin with the lead, though. Jordi Oriola just manages to grab 3rd as they get... So it's quite tight right-hander on a big slide there. Was he helped around? It looks like he probably was. Well, 54 car is Nikolai Karamshev. Well, James, they all got through safely, but it does look as though there's more rain coming. Yeah, they did. Oriola was moving around quite a bit on the brakes into turn 1, so I don't know if that's him just jostling for position or really struggling, but he's just made a move. This is the slipstream working perfectly now. And Skuts, the yellow and blue car, on the outside. He can't get back in the queue, so he loses 2 places. Oriola, the first of those 2 Seats, and right behind him, Andreas Pfister. Those 2 cars work together better than one on its own. Yeah, the lead car always gets the speed improvement with a car behind. Obviously, the car behind does benefit more, but if they want to work together to close up to the lead, then, yeah, they need to stick behind one another and push each other along. Well, behind, car number 12 with the blue bottom half, that is the colours of Serbia on that car. And Dusan Bokrovic has really got his head down and charging. That's a Super 2000 Seat Leon. Oriola in one of the single-make trophy cars, as is Vista in third, who pulls out. And you can tell the difference when they come towards you. The SMT cars have got a roof scoop, and the Super 2000 Seats do not. See the Alpha in there as well, returning to the championship. Philip Sladecker, his first race this season. And at the moment, Foulin is pulling away fast. But look, you can see tracks on the track, if you like, which means that it is wet.
Yeah, they're all starting to slide around. We saw big lock up into turn one as well, especially from the BMWs. They really struggle with tyre heat, so that will really show that there.
Well, Oriola has just gone from second down to fifth. He is now the fourth Seat in the queue rather than the first, as he was at the end of lap one. And how wet is it here? Not actually seeing spray yet, but when you can see the tracks that the tyres leave, you can tell that the road is getting moist. And James, perhaps that's the worst of all situations, because it's definitely not wet weather wet.
Yeah, and it's even worse for BMWs. We saw what happens then when it was raining in Monza. And yeah, they're on a slippery slope. They've got a handful of a car in the dry, let alone the wet or damp.
Yeah, Andreas Vista showing exactly that. He's trying to drive around the outside in the 52 car of our race leader, number 22, Peter Foulin. Foulin having trouble getting it slowed down. Third place now. This is a really good run from Dusan Bokrovic, the car with the blue bottom half there. Bokrovic having a great run, but here comes Andreas Vista in a straight line. The BMW's okay, but James, its tyre temperatures drop off much quicker than the front-wheel drive cars.
Yeah, I think he's going to struggle into turn one. He's got to keep his head, but he's also the first car leading them all in, so they've all got a bit of help in knowing what the track's like in front.
Well, the problem, of course, when you are the leader is if you get it slowed down by braking a little bit early, the guy behind might not need to brake quite so early if he's in a different car, and that could easily leave you in trouble. Meanwhile, just a little further back, who's this? That's Mato Homola, started in fourth in the other BMW, and the lead has changed. Andreas Vista's gone through, and that is the beginning of the rot, you've got to think, for Peter Foulin in the BMW. On this long back straight, he can hold his own. Once he gets the braking area, they should start to queue up to go by him.
Yeah, he's got to keep pressurising. If he can get the speed down this straight again and get back in front, maybe he can hold him up for another lap, get some more cars involved maybe, but yeah, in this damp weather he's going to start falling back.
Well, Mato Homola trying to get by the Alfa Romeo. Didn't manage to make a move there. Foulin's using the speed and the high line around the outside. Really, that is brave, isn't it? And that was a great pass as well.
Did exactly what he needed to do there. Yeah, like you said, really brave and hanging it out there. It's damp, unknown, and he's done a good job. Well,
and that's a good point, actually, because the last lap they were there, it was so wet. Next time you get round, there's no way of knowing that if it's any wetter, and it can be dramatically more wet. And as the leader, you're the guy who discovers what the limit of traction isn't anymore.
Yeah, it's all about body feel. It's what's coming through the steering wheel and your feet and through your bum in the seat. And yeah, they don't get very long to determine those things that are coming through to them.
Look at Dokrovic in third place. You can see all of his car as he sticks out, and the yellow and blue behind him. That is the Ukrainian Igor Skuts. Now Jordi Oriola trying to go around. Skuts on the outside, that's for fourth, and he got great drive off that chicane. But again, Peter Foulin on the inside. Andreas Vista trying to work his way around. Oh, and Foulin has a vicious weave, and Vista saw it coming, didn't he, and through into the lead is going Dokrovic. What a great opportunity for the Serbian driver. Vista, I'm sure, felt that the BMW was coming out to him. Vista's on the grass. Yikes. Drive-through penalty for Igor Skuts, and we're hearing that is for a jump start.
Which means is getting close.
Whoa, and Foulin's in the barriers. Oh, and that's a very, very heavy impact. Not so much for Foulin, but for Andreas Vista. The Austrian slammed into the barriers by the BMW. Yellow flags. The safety car board momentarily being shown. I'm sure we're going to have a safety car.
Well, this is the thing, when you've got such high-speed tracks, the smallest of touches give you dramatic effects.
And especially with the grip levels being 50% maybe of what they should be in the dry.
And it was a BMW as well, wasn't it? You got...
Well, you see in the middle, oh, in fact, did he get a little touch from behind from Oriola that knocked him around the nose of the Serbian? I think that might have been the case, but in these situations, James, you've got to have your foot buried in the boards here. Well, he thinks it was Foulin's fault. I got to say, I don't see it that way at all.
No, a bit unsure. I'd like to see it again, but there are 230 k's down there. It's not a nice place, and that looks quite heavy rain now as well.
Yeah, Andreas Pfister, it is raining properly there. Andreas Pfister very upset about that. Clearly blamed Peter Foulin, but I'm not sure that's the way it worked. Now, Kevin Krames, the green and black Fiesta ST, that's the first car in the queue. He's the Super 1600 leader, so he's going to be the cork in the bottle. And of course, until they get to the start line, nobody can pass him. So let's have a look. Foulin in the BMW in the middle of this group. Pfister's on the grass. Foulin comes around the outside, but watch the fourth car. Oriola's up behind Pfister, behind Foulin. I don't know.
Maybe he was trying to give him a bit of a shove just to get them past and get himself into second.
I mean, they were just where maybe the BMW needed a lift. I think he got turned around. I think he got turned around by Oriola, and I'm sensing there, James, and you might see it differently, that maybe Foulin in the BMW had to have a bit of a breathe of the throttle to get round safely, and Oriola in the front drive car didn't, and maybe he was just caught out by Foulin coming back towards him while he was still full on the gas. Yeah,
or Oriola just misjudged his closing speed, and yeah, the bump, and like you said, in the damp conditions, was just a bit too severe for him. Just picked up the rear wheels as well in the BMW. He's got no chance.
Yeah, well, he and Andreas Pfister both out of the cars safely, but they were both passengers after that, I'm afraid. So safety car stays out. 12-lap race, can go up as far as 14 laps if we have the safety car out for a couple of laps, and I think that is very likely to happen. There's a lot of debris to be cleared away, as you say, James. That's very quick down there. Great verdant green valley. And on the side of it, plenty of clearing up work to do. But the good news is that both our drivers are out and A-OK. Well, clear-up operations have now been completed. We are on lap 9 of 14. Safety car came out on lap 5 of what was then a 12-lap race. So we've lost 4 races, but gained 2 that can be added on to the race distance. The question now, with still a bit of drizzle falling, as we see the injured party, Christian Fischer, or not physically injured, Andreas Pfister rather, the race is being stopped. Well, now, actually, that's probably not a bad choice. They are on slicks, and that the racetrack is definitely not slick material. So to bring them in, change their tyres, then get them out for 5 laps, that seems a little bit meaningless. It's a bit of a shame for Andreas Pfister there with a very damaged Seat. I don't think we're going to see him or Peter Foulin again as we get ready now to prepare the cars for race 2. Well, cars on the grid now for not race 2, but what is going to be the continuation of race 1. The organisers did decide that there was time and hopefully light enough to change all the cars onto wets. Now, Jordi Oriola is on pole. Dusan Dokrovic is second on the grid. Third is the red and black Alfa Romeo of Filip Sladeka, as they head off behind the safety car. Martin Haven and James Nash watching the action. And James, I guess pretty much everybody in the World Touring Car Championship glad that we didn't have this sprinkling of rain during your races, because that really just takes so much away from the driver's control.
Yeah, I have to say I'm pretty pleased, and it's quite nice to have the sun shining. These guys have got their work cut out, and Homler's got to do a good job now, because Foulin, his main competitor's out of it. So he's got to get some good results and score some points and catch that points gap up in the championship. Yeah, that's a very valid point, actually, because with Peter Foulin's car wrecked and not able to, at least not able to complete this race, it's an open goal, isn't it? And you've absolutely got to score. Nick Hamilton there in the blue Seat, another one of those single-make trophy cars. Brother Lewis, of course, racing in another form of motorsport. I think most of you are probably familiar with him. So he's racing in the in the single-make trophy, and that's being led by Jordi Oriola. Oriola on pole position at the moment to lead this field round. Igor Skutz further back, ahead of the number 2 car of Peter Rickley. Now, Rickley
Had a dreadful time last time out in Slovakia, got involved in a race 1 incident, and he's out of the top 10 here as well. And he did start the season strongly, but he only scored 4 points in Slovakia, and one of those was in qualifying, so not a big weekend. Still rain dropping out of the trees, and this track is pretty darn wet, so let's hope those wet weather tyres work well.
I saw a tweet from Hamilton last night after qualifying saying he wishes for rain today, so he's got his wish. Let's see how he gets on.
See, I always do think, be a little careful what you wish for. For the second race weekend in a row, Jordi Oriola's Seat is taped up at the front. He got involved in corner 1 action in race 1 in Slovakia, didn't he?
Safety cars in this lap, they're not very bunched up.
No, they really are not, and unfortunately, Sladeka there in the Alpha is holding everybody back, not doing Mato Homola much of a favour. Away go the 2 Seats out front.
They're all asleep.
They are way asleep. Now, this is all being relayed to the teams, but whatever, whether you're aware the safety car's going in or not, James, you've just got to be right up behind the other guys. You're in a safety car queue. You know it's not going to last forever.
Yeah, you just keep an eye on the lights, and if you haven't got any radio communication, you watch the safety car lights. That was a bit of a shame, really.
Now, I wonder whether Sladeka actually changed onto wets or not. I'm assuming it was an option that he decided not to go with, and one of the 2 Russians is off, and that's Maleev. Ooh, Mikhail Maleev got away with that. I don't think Sladeka went for wets. I think he's on slicks, or maybe a Coronel combination. But if he had wets on the front, then surely he would have got that stop. Jordi Oriola, a drive-through and more damage behind.
Maybe you're right. Maybe he just couldn't keep up in behind the safety car, and that's the reason for the gap.
Well, we saw Jaromir Stadler there, the 64 car, running out of road in his Seat Leon in the single-make trophy. And in the black and orange car, that's Aurélien Comte. Unless I miss my bet with Igor Skutz alongside. And do you know what? It looks pretty darn quick in the dry, James. This looks an awful lot quicker in the wet.
It would approach quite quickly, and from the view of the car, turn 9 that they're in now, the quickest corner, it's quite narrow on the entry, so it's an eye opener, I have to say. I
do miss my bet. Of course, that's Mario Dablander in that grey and bright orange car. He wasn't in Slovakia, so I haven't seen him since Monza, and I was thinking, oh yeah, that's Comte. No, it isn't. But he gets by Igor Skutz anyway. There comes Peter Rickley in the little Honda. Had a really good race right at the sharp end here last year in the 2 races. Still trying to get past Skutz, and Oriola running away out front. But his penalty will give Bokrovic the lead from Comte, who is second. Mato Homola third in the BMW there, ahead of Mikhail Matejovski, Kirill Ladigin, and Andreas Tremmel.
Now we know how good these Seats are in the wet, so Oriola's got a good chance to try and make a big enough gap to get through the pits.
Ooh, the Super 1600s are going off. That's from Mayo Luciano. That's a nom de plume, if you like, and he's third in the Super 1600 standings. That's Peter Foulin's teammate, the number 20 car, Mikhail Matejovski. And he is right up behind Mato Homola. So battle of the BMW drivers. Matejovski fourth in the Super 2000 standings, 1 point behind Andrina Guga, so he's going to take that unless he goes off. And Mato Homola only 5 points in front of him. Ooh, but through goes the Russian in the Seat. Again, the front-wheel drive cars, James, starting to show their supremacy here.
Yeah, they can use that bit more of confidence. You know, they can be assured that the front end's going to grip, and they're only going to get quite a lot of understeer, not oversteer, and like the BMWs do get, it's so much more nervous.
In fact, that is Anton Ladigin, son of Kirill Ladigin, in that Russian-coloured red, white and blue car. So we got, I think, 2 sons of racing in this championship, because I have a feeling that young Master Tremmel's dad runs the Engstler cars. Wolfgang Tremmel. I said Andreas, didn't I? Wolfgang Tremmel is driving in the number 19 car. Meanwhile, out of the pits comes Oriola, so we didn't see him go in, but he has gone in, and that means Dokovic leads, and Oriola coming back in, well, where everybody else is, in 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th position.
He's still got good opportunities in the pack. The pack's still quite tight, so you can still make some good roundup.
Oh, BMW struggling. Matto Homola almost coming to a halt, it seemed there, compared to Anton Ladigan. He's got Dablander behind him. Oriola on the inside of Tremmel. Door closes in his nose, but he's got by the 56 orange and black car of Norbert Nagy, one of the Zengo Junior team cars. And if he can get around the outside as the BMW holds up the other Seat, he's got a good run going here, James. He could pick up at least one more place, maybe two.
I think he might get the BM as well into turn 9 if he's brave himself, which is not showing any sign of backing out of anything.
No, so he's not. But he gets one, and the BMW is going to be struggling under braking. Maciejowski. Oriola doesn't dive to the inside yet. He's going to wait for the BMW to drift offline in the latter part of the corner. There it goes. Oh, and a Super 1600 car right in the way, and there's almost kiboshed. Oriola, and Norbert Nagy almost runs into the back of it in the orange and black car. Wow, very slow. Ksenia Nix, one of the lady drivers, she has obviously got a problem. The end of lap 13, 1 to go this time round. And Maciejowski in that grey and white BMW somehow hanging on, as is Homola, but Oriola romping by them. This is the battle for 5th. There's Bokovic and Kont. Anton Ladigan in 3rd. Dablander right behind him. Mario Dablander in 4th place. Peter Rickley stuck in that pack, thought he was going to make some progress.
Oriola's through. He's made that move. It's just the superior grip of the front-wheel drive. Just under braking, they've got so much more confidence.
Try not to grin too much as a front-wheel drive driver yourself. You see, this is why the BMW drivers always pray for hot weather, because then they've got a fighting chance. As soon as it gets cold or wet, Wolfgang Tremmel on the gravel, possibly courtesy of Igor Skuts there. As soon as the tyre temperatures drop, as the road temperature drops, then their grip just goes to nothing. Homola and Maciejowski, well, that was for 2nd, it's no longer. It's now for about 5th, isn't it? Dablander looking for a place on the podium. The orange and grey car, 2 wheels on the grass at 130 miles an hour plus. He's going the long way around the outside of Anton Ladigan. Where's the grip here, though? Inside, middle, outside?
I'm going to find out.
Oriola could pick up something here. This could be a last lap sort out. Oh, no, I don't think he's got the grip that he was looking for. I think Ladigan might end up on the podium. Race victory. Who, again, as they battle, race victory is going to go with Dablander coming up for 3rd. Is he going to get 3rd place? Bokovic and Kont 1st and 2nd, but it is the 3rd car, Anton Ladigan, who gets onto the podium. Dablander and Oriola and Skuts. Has he got a puncture or some drama there across the line? Dropped out of the top 10, Igor Skuts. So Dusan Bokovic claims victory in the 1st race. Aurélien Kont in 2nd place. Anton Ladigan in 3rd. Well, despite that drive-through penalty, and this is one of the things about the wet weather, Oriola got himself back up into 5th position. Had it been dry, he probably wouldn't even have been in the top 50, never mind the top 5.
Yeah, he made a good break at the beginning, and the safety car release helped him there.
Yeah. Well, top 10 finish for Nick Hamilton. Good news for him. And Kevin Kramers, around half a lap behind in the Super 1600 car, but at least he didn't get swamped by everybody. He claims victory again. That's 5 in a row for Kevin Kramers. Hasn't had a perfect season, was not on pole for race 1 in Monza. That went to Gilles Bruckner from Luxembourg, but that's been his only race so far. Kramers has won all the races, and Bruckner now back, but again, Kramers claiming pole position here. Bruckner in 2nd, Ulrike Kraft, Uli Kraft in 3rd spot in the Super 1600s. And even as the leaders are heading into the final couple of corners on their slowing down lap, some of the Super 1600s are just getting to the line, so just as well this isn't a half-hour race. Saw Stadler going off very early on. I'm not quite sure what was going on with the Alpha either, Filip Sladeka, because actually later in the race he started to look a lot more sort of racy, but behind the safety car he was really struggling.
He was either asleep or, yeah, no tyre, the tyre temperature, and it's a bit of a shame really, because it let the pack split up, but yeah, I'm sure he was doing everything he could to keep up.
Well, he ended up 26th, in fact, at the back of the field. Well, weather definitely affecting our race here, and yeah, not looking very happy, is he? Dear, oh dear.
He needs to get it back, doesn't he?
Yeah, whatever affected him, he needs to get it back indeed. Well, so another first-time winner this year, Dusan Bokovic. He claims victory here in race 1, round 5 at the European Touring Car Cup.
Where did he qualify?
Good question. Where have I hidden my grid sheet? 5th, actually. So, yeah, I mean, at the sharp end, and, yeah, looking very competitive. Bokovic is our race winner. Oh, in Super 2000, right, Mato Homler second. See, graphics. Read all the words in the sentence, Martin, and then you'll understand what's going on. Dear, oh dear. So, yeah. Now, I thought Filip Sladeka was in an Alfa Romeo. It certainly looked very much like an Alfa Romeo. It was Alfa Romeo shaped.
Yes.
But never mind, so we're not all perfect. Mato Homler there, getting out of the car in the middle of your shot. Oh, a touch bitter with a puncture on that left front corner. I don't know if we saw what happened with that.
They got the drive the wrong way round. That's a front-wheel drive issue normally.
It's a front, yeah, left front puncture, exactly right. Kevin Kramers winning the Super 1600 class from Luxembourg, Gilles Bruckner and Uli Kraft of Germany in 3rd position. And not quite sure what was going on with the number 37 car, because Ksenia Nix, the Ukrainian girl, finished in 8th place, which she was 2 laps down and going, I mean, not even at pedestrian pace. 14 Sladeka there, you can see, still definitely looks like an Alpha to me. So, time now for the teams to re-prepare the cars, brakes, tyres and everything else. SMT winner Aurélien Comte ahead of Anton Ladigan and Mario Dablander, 1, 2, 3. Jordi Oriola in 4th spot. We'll be back with race 2 from Slovakia, from Salzburg even. Salzburg in Austria, and a very wet track. Full wet race being declared for round 6 of the FIA European Touring Car Championship, and looks as though it may stay wet as well. Now, top 8 positions from race 1 are reversed to give you the top 8 in race 2. From 9th on down, you start race 2 where you finish race 1. So we have Norbert Nagy, the Hungarian, on pole position in the orange and black car. The junior team from the Zengo Motorsport operation. Second on the grid, Michal Maciejowski in his BMW, the white and grey machine. Matt O'Homela, who won in Slovakia. Oh, Wolfgang Tremmel. Oh, that's a disaster. The car not getting away from the grid. Now, that is very bad news indeed for the Austrian driver. Nagy and Maciejowski, Matt O'Homela from Slovakia. Jordi Oriola in 4th place. Austria's Mario Dablander in 5th. Ahead of him and ahead of Anton Ladigan, Aurélien Comte and Dusan Bokovic, because they were the top 3 in race 1. 9th, 10th, 11th and so on down. Again, starting where they finished. So Kevin Kramers leading the Super 1600 class from 18th on the grid, ahead of rivals Gilles Bruckner and Uli Kraft. And again, James Nash sitting alongside me, winner for the first time ever in the World Touring Car Championship earlier on this afternoon. James, very slick conditions, and of course this is a really quick track. It's not tight and twisty, it's really fast. A couple of major stopping zones, and those are going to be utterly treacherous.
Yeah, it's got one of the fastest straights and leading into one of the fastest corners that we go to this year, so yeah, they've got their work cut out. I mean, there is a slight dry line, but there's a lot of rain on the cameras, so I think this is a perfect opportunity, like we saw in Monza, for the front-wheel drives to show their thing. BMW's they've got a tough time now.
Yeah. So Peter Foulin, a very tough time, came here with the championship lead in the Super 2000 class. The BMW driver, big accident, and clearly the stewards feel that that was caused by Jordi Oriola, and I have to say I'm not entirely going to disagree with them on that. At least I think he was the cue ball. And Adjas Pfister as well in his Seat. They will not take the start in race 2. The car's far too badly damaged. Single make trophy SMTs. These are the Seat Leon Euro Cups, the Leons with the roof duct, cooling duct on the roof. You can tell them the Super 2000 cars don't have that roof duct. Essentially, they are very close. The Super 2000 Seats have got a normally aspirated 2-litre petrol engine. The Seat Leon Copa cars have a 2-litre turbo engine. Nominally, Super 2000 car 300 horsepower, yep, and 301 for the Seat Leon Copa car. But the Copa's got different aerodynamics as well. It's got much more of an underfloor Venturi, so we could see the cars with the roof vents really romping away here because they are probably going to generate more grip. Again, I think you're right about certainly the grid here looks damp after rain rather than actually wet.
This could be, if it starts drying out, it could be really interesting. Who preserves the tyres the best? It could all come back to the BMWs at the end of the race.
Well, unlike you in the World Touring Car Championship, it's not mandatory to start on a full wet setup. When they declare a wet race, you can go on full wets, on slicks, or any combination of the two. You could have left wets, right slicks, front wets, rear slicks, whatever you like. Norbert Nagy not quite in the grid box there, the yellow box on the right-hand side, but that's not a problem because he's not in front of it, he's at least behind it. Race 1, as ever, was a rolling start. Race 2, a standing start, but he's given away a tiny bit of his pole advantage.
Yeah, just a bit. You know, BMW's rear-wheel drive always make a good start, so he needs every advantage he can get.
Here we go. We've got orange and black cars first and last on the grid, with Ferenc Fischer at the back. Norbert Nagy on pole, and away he goes, and it is not a bad start at all from Maciejowski, but look at Anton Ladigan trying to come around, finds the door shut now. Maciejowski is struggling for traction. Ladigan tried to come around Jordi Oriola, but Oriola is going to be second here, or is Dablander. Norbert Nagy is going to lead the Hungarian. Dablander in second, Oriola chooses third and safety. Fourth is Matto Hommler. They all got through safely last time, but not this time, and that big tyre stack on the inside so often plays a part. Peter Rickley, the Honda in the background, is one of those who is off, and Igor Skutz as well. Oh, and Oriola. Now, Oriola just went straight off there. Damage, maybe from that clash. Dear, oh dear. Well, they got away with it the first time of asking, but James Nash, they didn't get away that time. Nick Hamilton was there, 63. Igor Skutz. I think Peter Rickley may have rejoined. I think that's him just gone through shot.
Yeah, sometimes as the track starts to dry out, it actually gets more slippery. I don't know whether the oil sits on right on top of it. So
now Dablander, I think, just went by for the lead, went by Norbert Nagy, but yellow flags are out, unless Nagy had gone up alongside him and let him go. And there is Ferenc Fischer. Now, he was right at the very back in that second Zengo Junior team car. Once more, our safety car driver is waiting to pick them up. And Mario Dablander is leading the train. Matto Hommler in third. Norbert Nagy in second as his teammate's car is dragged out of the kitty litter.
It'll be interesting to see where Dablander got past, like you say, whether it was under a yellow or whether it was an official pass before they came out.
Yes, we'll have to wait and see. Again, he may have gone round in the Nockstein curve, the tight right-hander at the end of the front straight. Jordi Oriola still shedding gravel, which won't please anybody, I don't suppose. I wondered whether his steering arm... First thing that happens when you touch a Seat wheel-to-wheel with something is the steering arm breaks. But it seems that wasn't the case. Those tyre stacks, again, I always think on the inside of that first chicane are never going to survive a weekend without ripping a corner off a car, and they've managed to do so again.
It was the second part of the chicane that it all got tied up. They managed to make it through the first right.
Well, even I can get into the first part, OK, but it's negotiating that transfer from the right to the left when it's full of metal.
full of metal and full of tyres as well.
Yeah, well, and that's the other part of the tyre stack problem, I'm afraid. It does stop drivers jumping the curb and cutting over the grass, but realistically, I think they do more damage. Here we go, away from the start. Electrifying getaway from Ladigin. Goes inside Oriola, outside Oriola, tries to make it 4 wide, can't. And who gets turned around behind first? I think it's Nick Hamilton. He's inside Ladigin. Watch all the blue Seats, because Hamilton was certainly victim in here. Oh, yeah. And it was Aurélien Comte, who had gone in far too deep and still tried to make the second part. Comte on the inside. And Hamilton was going for the apex, but Comte suddenly reappeared inside him. 3-car bundle behind. Hamilton not able to get out of the way in that tyre stack, making the track a lot narrower. Now, here's Mario Dablander. Watch, Oriola goes off, and Dablander then was looking to make a move. Now, does he get by as the cameras follow Oriola? Oriola seems to survive that remarkably well.
Yeah, it looked like he just caught the white line, broke on the white line and sent him straight on.
Could well be. Didn't seem to be anything broken, did there? And again, James, you know, from years of experience at a track, you will learn where the grip is to be found in the wet. Often, it's right around the very outside by the white line where nobody normally drives.
Yeah, off all the rubber that people lay down through the weekend, so that's where you want to be. Every corner mostly is a wide line, fairly tight on the way in on the braking zone. So they're looking for that now, and they've got a few laps to go and find it behind the safety car.
Oh dear. Roland Hertner, Matt O'Homeler and 20, Mikhail Matyovsky. Their teams being investigated for breaking Parc Fermé rules. That means working on the cars before they were allowed. Oh, good, look, they're going to put the damaged tyre stack back just so it can do some more carnage. Safety car remains out. 2 laps completed. Race distance now gone from 12 to 13 laps and should go up to 14. Is that Peter Rickley going in the background there? It is. The Honda driver is still running. Yep. Okay, now, is that in the gravel trap? No, it's not. It is still a gravel trap, and it extends 3/4. It doesn't extend 3/4 of the way through, does it? It's all the way across the circuit, yep. So Mario Dablander leads at home in Austria. Norbert Nagy, the Hungarian, in second. Mato Homler of Slovakia. He knows what it's like to win at home. Won race 2 at the Slovakia ring. Mikhail Matyovsky in 4th. Anton Ladig in 5th. Kevin Kramers, the green and black car, just going through shot, leading the Super 1600 class. And they could do with another couple of laps of clear up. And oh dear, the rain is returning once more. So our hardy fans taking a bit of a pummeling from the weather, I'm afraid, as the afternoon continues.
Started off so nice.
I know. Well, I suppose there's got to be a reason why this is a lush and verdant area, hasn't there?
Very true.
Yeah. It's not all just the snow that fell over the winter.
Safety car in this lap. Let's hope they all bunch up this time and no one's sleeping.
Yes. I'm not sure. I've had far too many restart behind the safety car rants for it to be news to anybody, but it's just inexcusable. The first thing you do when the safety car comes out is nail yourself to the back bumper of the car in front.
If I ever make a bad restart, I'd be able to hear you in the background.
As you realise that you're going green and you're 5 car lengths behind, you'll be thinking, oh God, Haven's going to kill me for this. Now, normally, unless it's really awful, we just let it go. Again, you see they need to close up. Aurélien Comte in 6th position is getting closer. And of course, as the leader slows the queue down, that does help. But Mario Dablander now gets on the gas very early. I'm not sure Norbert Nagy went with him. Massive queue. Kevin Kramers isn't interested in what's happening in front. Norbert Nagy did go with him. He was ready for that. But the BMW could not get up to speed. Mato Homler, one of the youngster cars, has gone into the pit lane. Homler, Matyovsky 3rd and 4th. But Dablander and Nagy, I think, are going to make a 2-horse race of this and leave the rest stuck behind the BMWs, and that's a pretty good call. And Kevin Kramers, poor guy there in his Super 1600 car, good racing car, but only 1600cc, so fully outgunned by all these guys that are desperately trying to get by him. And Peter Rickley goes by. And of course, what he's got to try and do is not allow the next Fiesta, the white car, predominantly white car, of the Luxembourg driver Gilles Bruckner, to get by while he's been a gentleman to all the quicker guys.
Well, this is right, but he's actually in a race position, so he's earned that position. So you're right, he's got a tough job in letting people through in a nice way, but making sure he keeps his position in his own race.
It's like you racing me on our bikes and then trying to hold off Bradley Wiggins. You know, it's never going to happen, but I've got to let Bradley through without giving you any advantage. Definitely. Matto Homler in the first of those two BMWs. Let's see how he handles third place in this tightening right-hander, and it comes downhill as well. The cameras don't really show you sort of tightening downhill, little banked corkscrew, tighter, tighter, tighter. I imagine very easy indeed to carry in far more speed than you can handle.
Yeah, it's a massive bank, and the same at turn 5 as well, opposite ends of the track. There's two big banks, but this is why in the dry the tyres burn out, I suppose, and blow up, is because they're under so much pressure.
Yeah. Oh, Aurélien Comte in the background, trying to come by Anton Ladigan. Ladigan slammed the door closed. Mario Dablander's pulling away fast. And suddenly, I mean, last lap it was wet. This lap, it's really dark and wet. Nagy in second, Homler, Matiowski, and then Ladigan and Comte. So that's your top half dozen.
BMWs are still doing well for third and fourth.
Borkovic in seventh. He was 8th on the grid after winning race 1. And Karamchev has come up the order win. Oh, goodness me, he was on row 9th. He was 17th on the grid, so he's made pretty good progress through the carnage, Nikolai Karamchev. That's him just behind the back of the field, or behind the back of the top half dozen. Well, somehow the BMWs are hanging on, and I wonder whether Anton Ladigan is going to be able to get in amongst them.
It seems to be that turn 1 and 2 exit of there and into 5 that they really lose a lot of time, these BMWs.
Willie Kraft pulls off at the side of the track. Not quite sure what the woes are, but it looks mechanical. Certainly there's no damage on our side. Oh, Homler and Matiowski's cars both going too much speed as the tail steps out. Well, this is a lap-by-lap deal, really, isn't it? Every time you get there, you try and turn in at the same speed as last time and hope that if the grip isn't there, you've got room to catch it, right?
No, but down this long straight in a tow, you know, your speed is changing so often. You could come into it a lot slower just by leading the pack, and 10, 15, 20 k's faster by having a tow.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Blimey, yes, that makes wet weather racing very different. What remains of Igor Skutz's Seat is now in front of our race leader, Mario Dablander. Norbert Nagy there in second. Matto Homler still holding off the queue behind Borkovic, and right behind him is, who did I say it was? Karamchev. Yeah, Karamchev trying to get by. They had a little bobble. They both survived.
So again, the sets are closed right up on the BMWs here. This seems to be the place that the BMs lose a lot of pace.
It's getting the power on the exit, I suppose. It's all about grip. Anton Ladigan, red at the back, blue at the front, white in the middle. The colours of the Russian Federation. Wiper going, 19 to the dozen. It's one of those days where you wish that cameras had wipers on as well occasionally. Matto Homler and Mikhail Matiowski, third and fourth at the moment. But we're not even halfway in yet. So are they going to be able to keep temperature in the tyres? One of the things that happens, of course, is that the wet track cools the tyre down, which is good when you've got wets that are very soft, but the BMW may be struggling.
Dablander's just moving off into the distance, isn't he?
Fastest lap after fastest lap for race leader Mario Dablander, and more trouble than he can handle for Matiowski in BMW number 20. Mario Dablander leading the race here, round 6 of the FIA European Touring Car Cup. 7 laps into this 14-lap race, and the man in the Seat pulling away from Norbert Nagy there, the orange and black car in second place. Matto Homler, the Slovakian, and Mikhail Matiowski battling hard for third. Homler gets it wrong, jumps the chicane, and as he slows, Matiowski tries to come round, and what an opportunity for Anton Ladigan. And it's almost like the end of last year's World Touring Car race. racers. Hommler and Maciejowski tangle. They're just giving it away, James Nash.
Oh, that was incredible. You know, we saw in the first race somebody getting turned, a BMW being turned across the nose, and that was almost the same thing there. Yeah, Hommler was really lucky to get across that chicane. Those tyre stacks do not move.
Yeah, you can't make a late call on that. If you know you're not going to make it, you've got to go early for the gravel, because the tyre stack, you might as well be hitting a tree, frankly, the damage it'll do to your car. Anton Ladigan, though, that blue Seat, or blue nose Seat now, up to 3rd place. Matto Hommler clings on in 4th, ahead of Maciejowski. And the next Seat in the queue with the day-glow highlights, that is Aurélien Comte, right on the back of that little group. Well, this got close, didn't it? 3 wide and contact. Oh.
So lucky to get away with that one.
And here, who's this? Oh, Romeo Luciano. No. Oof. Now, normally, when you hit those tyre stacks, you come off much worse than that. And Aurélien Comte has gone by Maciejowski. Maciejowski is really starting to struggle for grip now.
Now the chicane, this first chicane, it will all be different because the tyre stacks move. So Dablander's going to be the first to see this.
Yes, he is. Yellow flags waving, give him an indication of what's going on. Igor Skuts there with the damaged front is now a full lap behind, or maybe 2 behind. And he's going to get in the way and bunch everybody else up. And I suppose he's continuing, James, because there are points to be gained, and you never know, do you? Ooh, 3-way battle behind me. Look at Maciejowski sinking like a stone.
Is it him?
Porkovic has gone by him. Karamishev has gone by him in the 54 car. Well, he hasn't forgotten how to drive, so either the engine has lost a cylinder, which makes it only a 3-cylinder BMW, which sounds unlikely, or it's tyres.
Maybe he's just lost a lot of temperature on that last lap, being offline. Yeah, really strange.
Well, again, there you go. So he loses grip there, and then, of course, the tyres, with their grooves and their tread blocks, are full of mud and grass and giving you very little in the way of grip. And the 2 sets just completely sandbagged him. And Karamchev on the inside with the Russian colours on his roof. And Djokovic loses the place there. I was trying to figure out who that was down at the side of the road. I have to wait for the end of the race. Not sure who that is, I'm afraid. Might have been Wolfgang Tremmel's Seat. It was white. Meanwhile, car number 9 in 4th place. Matto Hommler hanging on at the moment. Mario Dablander now getting on for 4 seconds clear of Norbert Nagy. And for the Hungarian, the youngster there, the teenager in that orange and black car, another youngster coming up behind him, Anton Ladigan. Oh, as Nagy goes straight on. Straight through the chicane. You saw Ladigan turn fast out of your shot. He went round. And Skuts goes the very long way. And probably to keep himself out of harm's way, I would think.
Yeah, it's giving a chance for everybody else just to get through without any problems.
Yeah, good call, actually. Seeing that lot coming up in your mirrors, I think I'd be going down the escape road as well. Aurélien Comte, number 60, on the inside of Matto Hommler. And he goes through. Igor Karamchev there, Nikolai Karamchev rather. He spent half of last year calling him Igor as well. Nikolai Karamchev, the 3rd of those cars, is going to be lining up that BMW. Well, this is a front-wheel drive car rout at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, well, as the tyres go off as well, you start to lose top-end speed, so BMW certainly losing some of that now.
Ironically, it seems as bits fly off from underneath Karamchev's car. Ironically, it seems actually the track is drying in places, and yet the BMWs now are in the vicious spiral where they just can't get heat into the tyres. Never mind keep it in.
Yeah, we talk about managing tyres in Formula 1 and things like that. I think it's the same in every formula. It's just different levels.
Yeah, definitely. As soon as it gets cold or wet, the BMWs just struggle. Battle on for not battle on for second. Ladigan has got round Norbert Nagy after that incident at the chicane here last time round. Nagy went straight on, thank you, director. Past his teammate, parked at the side there. And it's quite a long way round, actually, through that slip road, so the escape road doesn't give you an advantage.
It certainly doesn't, but he's...
Bruckner goes early to avoid the tyre stack. Luckily, the tyre stack's now in the track and not on the edge of the gravel trap.
I think most drivers would have gone and walked that chicane themselves, the escape road, just so they know where it is. It's a wise thing to do.
Ooh, and a change back for second. Just saw the Hungarian get back in front of the Russian driver. There they are. So Norbert Nagy back up to second. Anton Ladygin third. I wonder, having shot through the escape road, if he maybe popped up in front of the Russian, whether he just let him go. Because again, you know, as we know after even qualifying, when you head into the steward's room, you never really know what's going to happen, do you?
No, only they know, and they normally make their decision up fairly quickly. So yeah, he's lost it again. Yeah,
Ladygin goes around him, carries the speed well. That left-hand lane there, if you like, that left line seems to be giving enough grip at the moment for the Russian to survive. Went shooting by, and he can see all the black marks on the road starting to become visible now under the water. And I mean, those are pretty much all the way across the track. There's nowhere you can go in that braking zone that somebody's not already left rubber in to make it slippery under the water.
No, I think every car's tried every line round there, and they've all approached it too fast at some point.
Not all of them can have been right. Going past Anton Zaitsev in his Focus ST. There's Romeo Luciano. And Erwin Lucas as well.
It's a bit slippery there.
Yeah, Lucas, the only Citroen C2 in the series. He's racing in the Super 1600 class as well. Mario Dablander making conditions look a lot better than they are. What's going on? Oh, here we go.
Dablander was lucky not to get caught up in that.
Yeah. Luciano, lucky not to be taking Lucas off, and goodness me, is that Maciejowski? It is. Yikes, more work to do for that team. Krenek Motorsports, Peter Fulin had his car wrecked in the first race, and Maciejowski, well, I'm not sure many of those wheels are connected properly. At least two pointing in the wrong direction that I could count, and we're only looking at one side of the car. So that is pretty much stuffed, and it is on the racetrack. Anton Ladygin in second. Maciejowski bails out, wisely so, sir.
That's a disappointment.
Well, now, put yourself in the race director's position. Alan Adam, what's he going to do now? He's got a car basically blocking a third to a half of the track. Offline, well, the answer on the left-hand side is pretty much the only option left open for him. Safety car until we get rid of that.
It is close to the pit entry, so that's one benefit. They can just drag it straight into the pits. But
yeah.
Disappointment.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Caught out in these conditions, you always feel cursing yourself.
Just getting up. Maybe you just touch the curb on the exit, just squeezing on the power a bit too quickly.
Doesn't take much, does it? No. When when you learn to ride a motorcycle, the first thing they tell you is when it's wet, stay off the paint. Imagine it's white because it's ice, and you'll be about in the right kind of level of grip. So stay off the paint. Well, Club Seat Austria look like they might be very happy boys quite soon. The only problem, of course, for Mario Dablander is the safety cars in front of him. He's got a big gap, but that will all close down because it must take a lap or so to get that car away.
Yeah, his gap that he's built up is going to be diminished, isn't it? But
yeah,
nobody seems to be catching up with him at the minute.
Well, there's Dusan Borkovic, our race one winner in car number 12. Well, there is a massive gap. Where's everybody else?
Maybe are they behind a 1600 car?
Well, that's the only thing I can think of, yeah.
Maciejowski to the rescue.
Yeah, you don't want to be doing that, mate. Right, he gets in, and he can steer the one steering wheel, which I think is probably on his side. Yeah, look. So the right rear is crackered. Oh dear, which one isn't attached to the steering, do you think? I think maybe it's the left front as well, which is going to make the car a bit undrivable. Okay, so oh yes, it's the Fiesta in second place of Ksenia Nix. Now she was 2 laps down at the end of race 1, and in fact she had a 30-second penalty added as well for I think holding the field up when she was going so slowly. She did look very slow indeed in the wet. Romeo Luciano. I've got it. I haven't got it. Well, that's what allowed the Citroen to close up. You can see Erwin behind there. I touch Peter in the gravel. Borsan Automotive driver gets back on terra firma again. But this is going to play very well, I'm thinking, for our race leader, and not, in fact, not one but two Super 1600 cars in front of Anton Ladygin. And for the Russian driver, he's got basically a roadblock in front, the Jammer cars, and behind him, if he drops back a little bit, Norbert Nagy can get a good run at him and just go blinding straight by.
Yeah, he'll be really frustrated sitting there because he can see the leader and he's got a perfect opportunity, but he just can't take that opportunity up.
Well, they've had to drag Norbert Nagy's car, Mitar Makiowski's car, halfway into the pit road. Don't seem to have done much of a job of getting it out of the way, though. Well, lights stay on the safety car. This is lap 13 of 14 now. And that means, are we going to finish under safety car? I can't remember what they do. It's not like Formula One, is it? You don't have that safety car line where you can race the last few hundred meters. Maciejowski, again, wisely, I'm thinking, is getting out of the way. So this is the penultimate lap of the race, and you would desperately hope with Maciejowski at least off the track that we will go green for one final lap.
The 1600 cars could do everybody a bit of a favour and keep close at least.
I think they might be trying, in fairness. Okay. Although the safety car should only be doing about 80 kilometres an hour. It's not supposed to be going fast. Lights will go off at the end of timing sector 2, which is at the end of this long back straight. Safety car in this lap, so actually, confirmation we're going green for one.
Dablander could do a job here and just slow the pack down, knowing that the 1600s haven't got any power, and just blast it through the last couple of corners.
But then he doesn't even need to. All he needs to do is follow the safety car. Not right up his backside, but building up speed. Our safety car driver picking up speed, and Dablander is going, and the Super 1600s actually are probably going not as fast as they can, but as fast as they can under yellows, because you're supposed to be not at racing speed. I mean, Dablander is now closed up on the safety car. He can afford to back off as much as he wants here. He's under no pressure at all. And we mentioned the phrase open goal before, but James Nash, this is giving it to him on a plate. The 1600 cars can do nothing, and nobody can pass him until they get to line, by which time he's already through the chicane at the end of the short front straight.
I think the safety car could have gone a bit slower. They could have read this race and made it a bit more interesting at the end. Or it's going to be interesting for the midfield. It's
I tell you what, it really is.
Although, to be fair to Dablander, he did do everything in the beginning. And
Dablander is gone, and the Super 1600 guys are having a race. What's Ladygin doing? He has dropped right back off those Super 1600 cars, because as he gets to the line, he wants to be able to have a run at them. Romeo Luciano gets round Ksenia Nix, and Ladygin rather, and Nagy are going one side and the other of the German girl. And no change. Luciano is now the cork in the bottle. Can Ladygin go around safely? Yes, he does. So too does Norbert Nagy. Aurélien Comte as well goes through. So that is second, third and fourth. And they are all SMT cars, aren't they? Because our leader as well, Mario Dablander, is in one of the single-make trophy cars. Yes, confirmation of that. 1, 2, 3, 4, all single-make trophy cars. So it's like the old days of the St. Leon Euro Cup. We've got the Euro Cup drivers first, second, third and fourth. This is the battle for the final podium spot. Norbert Nagy trying to hold off Aurélien Comte in the predominantly white car. Frenchman going around the outside. And again, that left-hand lane works really well down the back straight. Clearly, Nagy hasn't used it, and he's lost places almost every lap through there. So Comte on the podium. Don't forget, the leader is in front of here by a country mile. We'll see him in a moment when he wins. Ladygin in second, Comte in third, Nagy in fourth. Out of turn 10 for the final time, into the turn 11, 12, 13 chicane. As Mario Dablander of Austria wins in Salzburg. Nagy goes off. He had a little run at somebody, didn't get there. And the battle for second, Ladygin by inches over Aurélien Comte. And the gap, tiny amount, less than a tenth of a second between them, 0.05 of a second. Nagy in fourth, Karamshev fifth, Matto Hommler in sixth, ahead of Peter Rickley. And, well, after a very dramatic start to the race for Nick Hamilton. Actually ended up better for him than race 1. He's in 9th. So he had 10th in race 1, 9th in race 2.
His wish for rain was a good wish.
Yes, it was a good wish, wasn't it? And more cars coming across the line. Here you can see the battle for victory in Super 1600. Now that's as close as it's been all year long. Kevin Kramers ahead of Gilles Bruckner. And in between them, another of those SMT cars. Is that the first top 10 finish, I think, for Roland Hürtner, I think, for the German driver in the Liqui-Moly car. Christian Fischer took the other Liqui-Moly Exler BMW into the pits early on, didn't he, I think? Mario Dablander, he'll be having a cup of tea before the rest finish the race at this rate. Comfortable win, 9.2 seconds he opened up behind the safety car, and before made it look very straightforward. Kevin Kramers in 11th place, and Borkovic between him and second in Super 1600. Gilles Bruckner, Romeo Luciano, despite any number of different attempts at wrecking his car in the chicane, ending up in 3rd spot on the Super 1600 podium. But James, well, listen, you had your first win this afternoon, and now we can see this guy having his first win. And what's more, it's an Austrian in Austria. So for Mario Dablander, that's got to feel pretty good as well. Yeah, he's going to be really chuffed, and it's such a good feeling. There's lots of people here, and it's a nice crowd. So unfortunately, the weather didn't hold up, but that won't dampen his celebrations, I'm sure. I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it won't dampen yours either. And a big day for Bamboo Engineering as well. First outright race win. That's right, isn't it? It is their first win, yeah, and I'm extremely pleased to have brought it home for them. And yeah, there was a closing laps. I thought Ivan was going to sneak in, but yeah, closing laps. And actually, you're not the first, and I'm sure you won't be the last this year to have a win, having to hold off a triple world champion. So again, that ticks also. But you've got plenty of experience. You spent half of race 2 last time out holding off Ivan, didn't you? Yeah, I don't want to do it too often. I'd rather just drive away. Oh, no. Much better to hold off Ivan than not to hold off Ivan. You can hold him off every race you like. So Mario Dablander, a very happy man. And I'm sure there's going to be some Austrians with sore heads, as well as some Brits with sore heads later on. So James Nash winning for the first time in World Touring Car Championship, first outright win as well for Bamboo Engineering. And for Matto Homola, he is now the leader of the championship. And actually, with the way it was, I guess perhaps for Peter Foulin, 16 points behind is maybe not as bad as it could be. No, this is combined results, so this is how many points they took home. Okay. So Foulin led by 4, goes away 16 behind. Mario Dablander in the Super 1600 points now, in the SMT points rather, now the points leader as well. Super 1600, despite the fact that Gilles Bruckner missed the whole of Slovakia, he's only 5 points behind Kevin Kramers. It's quite remarkable. Gilles Bruckner didn't score a point in Slovakia, didn't race, and he's still there. Well, it's a misty, moisty afternoon in the Austrian Tyrol. Aurélien Comte leading the SMT by 1 point from Mario Dablander. So do we agree with that? Our single make trophy points with Anton Ladegin as well having a good weekend. Jordi Oriola not so. And Andreas Pfister, a poor weekend for him. Next time out, Enna Pergusa in Sicily. They think this is fast. Boy, are they in for some fun then.